there's this thing that we in Australia are familiar with. It's called the tall poppy syndrome, chopping down the tall poppies. It's a thing where we kind of take an instant dislike to people who have done extremely well for themselves or top of their game or that kind of thing. We kind of think, well, who the hell are you to be doing so well, to think you're so smart, to be above everybody else. And in the Australian kind of quasi-egalitarian culture, we would prefer that everyone was pretty much on the same level. So we like to chop down the tall poppies. And there's a sense that that's what's happening in the story of Job, with his friends coming along. And Job's been so rich and powerful and well liked, or at least revered by his community. And now he's clearly sitting in the dust, scraping his own sores with a bit of pottery, having lost his family and lost all his wealth and his goods and so forth. And in a very despicable situation, a situation you might expect people to come around and offer some comfort to. But his friends are like rubbing salt in the wounds. They're a little bit vicious, to be honest, and they seem to be saying, well, clearly, Job, you've got to stop whinging and start repenting, because you've done something terrible to deserve all of this that you're facing now. God's a righteous God and would never, ever do anything so despicable to a good person, so clearly you must be not a good person. Job, to his credit, is not convinced by them. He knows he hasn't done anything worthy of the kind of treatment he appears to be getting from the universe or from God or whatever it is. And so he continues to protest his innocence and maintain that if he were able to make contact with God, God would vindicate him and agree with him that he was in fact innocent. And so it's a really interesting chapter that we're going to look at this Sunday at Mustard Seed, chapter 23 of Job. And it's a little piece of the conversation where Job is essentially saying, look, I'm looking out for God. I'd love to stand before him. I'd love to be able to have this whole argument out with God, because you guys clearly don't know what you're talking about. And if I was with God, he would vindicate me. Now, Job goes on to say that I'm looking for God, can't seem to find him anywhere, and I wish I could. God is a mystery to us. So this is where Job starts to kind of push into what is, in a way, the scariest part of our faith. The fact that God is unique or stands alone or is one of a kind or not like us, in a sense. We are made in God's image, but God is a character who behaves in ways that frequently we don't understand, because we are so conditioned by our proximity to other people and our need for their approval and to bounce off what's going on for them, etc. Whereas God acts in a singular manner, and that's mysterious to us. We don't understand it, and because of that, it is quite threatening to us a lot of the time. Job goes on to say that you wait and see. God knows his ways, and when he's refined by this process, he will come out purer than gold. The process will in fact show up the fact that he is a good man. So even in the midst of all that's gone on, Job has incredible confidence in the righteousness of God, in a sense far more than his friends do, who don't understand righteousness very much at all. And you know that by the way that they are treating Job, which is really an expression of their envy, I would say. So on Sunday, when we look at this passage, we're going to go into Job's response to his friends, chapter 23 of that story, and see what we can glean in that rich wisdom tradition. Hope you have a good week. We are inching closer to October the 11th, which is touted as a day when we won't be quite as locked down as we used to be. and we're looking forward to that, aren't we? God bless, have a good week, and stay faithful.